There, this is Sarah from Standing Up to Scoliosis and the Scolio Temple, and I'm just doing my video today about my first so I've started writing a few books on scoliosis and different therapies and things that can help, and one of them is just like a personal account of my story with some like poetry and artwork and all sorts of just things that work for me personally. Another one is called like it's like a sort of handbook for more like nutritional and herbal like remedies. So I'm like doing a herbal medicine course diploma at the moment, and I've been into nutrition, you know, for many years as well. I'm just into any adjuncts really that can help with health and the strengthening the structure of the body. And then my other book is, so that one's like with the Scolio Temple. So the Scolio Temple, my Instagram is more about the like herbal like sort of things and like more meditative stuff. Maybe has some spiritual aspects in as well. But yeah, this, so and then this third book, this is like more of a science book, because physical therapy is the main thing that I'm qualified in as a physio, and sports massage and remedial therapy diploma. It's my Standing Up to Scoliosis book, which I'm basically doing. I'm releasing some volumes, some like samples of the book, just to like give people an idea of what's being included, and then I'm going to do like a video on my YouTube page about the volumes that I'm releasing, just to explain a little bit more. So yeah, the first volume you can see here is really an introduction to the myofascia, and it's called Structural or Functional Scoliosis. Can anything be done other than surgery? So it's basically sort of, because the mainstream medical system is like saying that if you have a structural scoliosis, which is where you bend forward in the Adam's test and it curves, is saying that your muscles you're unable to like reflexively correct that curve like naturally. So like there's nothing that can really be done about this scoliosis other than like, you know, just managing the pain and stuff, like doing things for pain relief. So this volume is explaining about the basics of biotensegrity and the myofascial like system, because it's explaining how structure can be changed through the myofascia, not just through the muscles and the nervous system. So yeah, if you've had a look at the brochure, it's starting off basically explaining what fascial unwinding is. So it's like basically explaining that the reason people can get postural imbalances or any sort of imbalance in their system is because the fascia will like wind up like a chrysalis or a spider's web to defend and protect itself when there's been an injury or a disease or unwellness. And this can pull the structure, like, because it works like spiraling. So if anyone who's ever done myofascial release as a therapist will know that when you feel this tension release, it's like unwinding itself, like, and just dissolving, like melting under your hands. But there is like actual science, you know. There's actually so on my leaflet there's actually videos where I've posted a link to Strolling Under the Skin and the Myofascial Research Society website. So there's like lots of videos, there's like loads of things you can read online about all this, but videos like actually showing the myofascia and the structures and, you know, how it looks like, how different it dehydrated and thick and fibrotic it can look like if it's been really scarred and damaged, and how it looks when it's healthy, like it's like this gel like crystal matrix, you know, like there's even thermodynamics, like the fluid build up pressure and air bubbles like popping out of this, like, and that's the sort of thing, like, you know, these are all sorts of things that all physical therapy techniques work on. And also you know, you can help this system, like you can help heal any part of the body with internal medicines or herbal medicines, you know, especially like putting it like directly on the skin and the fascia, like so it can absorb through. So yeah, like try and get to the main points here. So the main argument, you know, the main thing about this is to give people hope that there's things that you can do, because lots of people are seeing some people getting curve corrections and other people are trying and they're not getting corrections. And so it's explaining, you know, that, because I know people can get overwhelmed with all the different therapies and programs that are out there, but it's just explaining that there is like a logical cause and effect, that if you can find the root of this fascial binding, you know, and like spider's web that's like keeping you trapped in the dark and pulled, you know, spiraled down, if you can like work out how to unwind that and release it, whether that be through scoliosis specific exercises or through myofascial release massage techniques, through heat, you know, through like other energy modalities, and through herbal medicines, you know, it's basically saying that there is hope. Like the main thing we don't know is how far these imbalances can be corrected. Like we know from, because they are based on the Chinese meridian line system, and the, you know, ancient wisdom has always known that the more out of balance you get and the more these things add up, the harder it is to then readdress this, like the whole system, because this, you know, this system is linked with the balance, like of how everything flows and connects in the body. So but yeah, like this, I'm going to show you one main document that I think I have actually shown in another one of my videos, why therapy might not always work. And there's an image here. So the above image is a myofascial release technique that has worked. So you can see that the tissue has been released where it was bound and stuck before, and this movement in this organ has come back. So this person is going to, you know, get function and restore mobility back to that area. And once that bit's released, then they might be able to then re-strengthen something else that was like out, you know, because you've really untrapped this bit that was stuck. But the picture below is showing how stuck this is. Now, do you think that massage technique is going to release that? No. Like, really not gonna, is it? I mean, look how thick the scarring is here, and look how thick the blood flow is binding it together. Like, this person is blood bound. Like, I think this picture is like maybe an ovary or a womb. So I think it can depend on what part of the body is like bound and stuck. Obviously some parts of the body have more higher perfused blood flow, they have more compression and forces squashing and acting on them than others, but mostly it's to do with, you know, how much damage that was done in that area and whether that scar, you know, like is reversible. And if that blood flow is like bound so thick where it's like stuck, where it, you know, you want to try and release it but you can't. So that's just one main example. Like, unless you can basically the doctor's scans are not good enough to show these like really delicate, you know, like things, like they can't see all of the areas where the myofascia is stuck. They can only see really thick fibrotic scar tissue. When it's got really thick, it will show up on an MRI scan or ultrasound from the you know, what the medical doctors will give you. So this is why I'm like explaining that this is not like woo-woo sort of pseudoscience. Like these myofascial release techniques, you know, they do actually work. They can work on parts of the body, and many people have had amazing corrections in posture. But you know, that it just depends on how damaged it is and how thick the blood flow has like redirected itself in that area to if you're going to get a full correction, you know, or a full release or not. So so then obviously my leaflet is going on to say that this, what was once thought as just like gristle on meat, you know, just stuck tissue that you had to go in and only release with surgery and cut, we now know can be released without surgery. So, you know, like this is like a living and breathing system that is like an unconscious reflex. So this is what my, you know, my leaflet is going into, is that the reason a structural scoliosis, when you bend forward in the Adams test, doesn't correct naturally is because it's stuck in the gristle, in the fascia. It's not going to just be able to correct because it's stuck in the fascia. And so this is where, you know, where surgeons think you have to go in with the knife and release that soft tissue and correct it. It's the only option. But, you know, as we've proved, you know, they've stuck cameras in bodies, and they have actually got more sensitive ultrasound machines now that can show where there is like stuck fascia and it's thicker, but it's not the clearest modality to use. So, I mean, hopefully this technology will get better and better, because, you know, you want to scientifically prove for definite that you have made a change. It's not pseudoscience. It's not just someone felt better in their head. You've actually released soft tissue with physical therapy techniques or with, you know, internal medicine techniques that don't need surgery. Because, you know, this fascia, it contracts, you know, it has like how you can use Botox to release a contracture. It's the same thing. You're using a chemical, you're injecting in the body, and it's suddenly letting the muscle relax and let go. So in Botox, I guess, is one option that you've seen Dr. Lawrence Fishman getting results with. But there are many other options that can release myofascia. Many options out there. And I will talk all about this in my book that I am working on. And this fascia contains many different neural reflexes that all respond to different things. So like the joints in the bones up the spine have like so many vibrational neural reflexes. So this is like all responding to sensory reception. And it's responding to stretch. You know, if you stretch in the right way, not like, if you stretch in the wrong way, you can make this myofascia worse, because you can make it like, because it has a mind of its own. It will like, oh, if it doesn't like the way you pull it, it will like recoil and tense even more. So it's like coaxing, like it, you know, a living breathing organ. It is a whole other organ in the body, and you know, like it will choose like to, you know, like has autoimmune responses that will choose to stay contracted, you know, to defend the body from spreading virus or whatever, like toxin around the body, like until it's like killed it off enough, it won't let go, you know. And the same with like emotional, psycho-emotional. If you're like in a fear response, like a vasovagal like freeze response, you know, because you've been like abused, you're not going to like let go of that fascia again until you feel like you're in a safe environment where you don't have to keep defending yourself. So this is like a system that responds to so many holistic things, and I don't want people to feel overwhelmed from this video. I just want to get people to have hope that there are things that they can do that, you know, the medical system hasn't really, you know, doesn't really teach yet. And why doesn't it teach this stuff yet? I mean, it's like new science, so I mean, I would imagine it just hasn't fully caught on yet. And I would also imagine that maybe because of some of the measuring systems, like I said, the scans aren't quite sensitive enough, and we can't always stick a camera in someone's body to see if it's working or not. So, you know, if you haven't got like that just blatant proof exactly what you're doing objectively, then, you know, that could be left to conjecture. And like, you could be like, you know, releasing and improving some parts but not doing other parts enough, and, you know, it can all just get to the point where they say, well, you're not getting as much correction as surgery, so what's the point? Like, but like for people living with scoliosis, you know, that even though they might not get a full correction, they might get enough of an improvement if they know how to work on the myofascia, if they know how to have a therapist, you know, identify where the stuck bits are, and they know how to exercise correctly themselves, you know, and maybe some meditation for awareness, proprioceptively, like that could be enough that they, yes, it might still be a battle to live with. It might not be like perfection, you know. But that could be a happier, more pain-free life than living with the surgery and the metal rods. So I think each individual person's case is different. And I just wish that the mainstream would catch on to this myofascial and biotensegral work that is based on ancient wisdom that we've always been aware of. These in dissection, you know, these fascial lines, they are the same as the Chinese meridian lines. What we've always sensed, you know, in this energy and blood flow that's connecting and holding and supporting every organ together is true. So, and this like biotensegrity, so I'm including a bit about biotensegrity as well. So if you understand about that, about compression and tension and the opposing forces in the universe balancing everything out, you can know how to teach exercises more in the right way, like more in a closed chain sort of fixing one area and link, you know, so you're not just like just doing stretches and lifting weights, like not understanding that this isolated exercise is anchored by lower down, you know, that it's all connected together. So like this wasn't taught on my physio degree over 10 years ago, and I still don't think it is taught. I'm not 100% sure. You know, maybe another mental block to why it's not caught on yet, you know, is because it's like part of it is connected to Eastern medicine, and in the West, you know, this was sort of rejected as pseudo woo-woo. Maybe like there are spiritual mental blocks somewhere deep down where we're sort of saying, okay, so you might be able to help free up the body, but can you connect it back to the mind? You know, how do you balance the mind and the body fully together? And is there a different consciousness connected with the mind to the body? So there's a lot of studying still going on, because we know that when the body is in trauma and in these states, the nervous system does change, slow down. It like slows its state. You become disassociated, you know, your consciousness sort of disconnects to it. So it goes into a primal reflex state where you don't really you lose that sort of memory and connection, like in the fast, normal conscious connection. So, you know, like there are barriers, I suppose, like that could just be in the subconscious that's slowing down this getting into the mainstream. But there are so many people pushing it, like, and I think that if there's real science proving it, you can't ignore it. Like, you literally can't ignore this stuff. And when you felt it in your own body working, and you know that therapy works, you know that therapy is not going to necessarily achieve perfection. Once damage is done, you know, we all age, we all die, we all have more and more damage build up. I mean, this is why like 60% of people end up getting some kind of scoliosis over the age of 60. Like, at the end of the day, we're all going to get out of balance more and more. But it's like how our lifestyle deals with it every day is important. Like, it's just wisdom that needs to be taught, and it probably needs to be maybe understood slightly more to like fully concrete into the mainstream, you know, like how to safely connect back the reflexes and the stuck bits to the conscious nervous system, you know, so someone doesn't stay disassociated. How to embody how to get someone to embody their body, you know, in a conscious way that doesn't re-traumatize them, you know. Like counsellors will deal with this, you know, when they're getting people to talk about their situations, that they're very aware that they don't want to re-traumatize someone down a rabbit hole. So it's like understanding when the fascia is ready to release and let go, when it's detoxed enough of the illness out of there, when the structure is repaired and strong enough that it feels safe now. So yeah, there's a lot to it, and I hope I haven't bogged people's brains down. But, you know, I'm going to be explaining as much as I can in my book with all the different neural reflexes and the different techniques, physical therapy techniques, you know, that are going to affect those. And yeah, I'm going to try and bring case studies into the book as well. And yeah, like it's all going to be based on real, you know, proper research from the Myofascial Research Society and the Fascia Hub that I'm a member of. And I hope we can all move and grow together from this, and understand that, you know, that we want to like be self-empowered to take back how to help our health ourselves with like real wisdom and like a true scientific understanding, not just like a spiritual one of what we intuitively feel is going on. Like, it's just amazing that there's science behind this. There's science behind, you know, embryology now as well, like the order of how we're created, which I just think is fascinating, which I bring into my practice as well, which I might probably will include some in this book too. So yeah, I love this image of this myofascial dancer, because dancing was my passion and profession before I went into therapy. And yeah, it's just clear that everything is like weaved together and bound together in this web, and this web is changing and morphing all the time, shape shifting, and like we can choose to like keep it shape shifting into a scoliotic posture, or we can try and like obviously we can't control it, you know, to an extent, it is unconscious, but we can like put ourselves in the right environment, have the right feelings around us, and yeah, we can try and let the environment around us shape us into a better posture. And that's wholly what I believe therapy and sensory modalities are all about. And yeah, it's great if you can like do a lot on your own without needing other people as well, for sure, with like as many props and equipment as possible. And yeah, I think I'm finished. And I hope that I've shown, I'm always aware that I'm not showing enough, like I'm like talking a lot, not showing enough images or movements and exercises. So, you know, on my next video, when I release the next sort of volume, like sample taster from the book, I am going to demonstrate some techniques. I think I'm going to like include one about some neural reflexes. I'm going to like demonstrate some like massage techniques that you can like get your other half, you know, someone to do on you, and maybe like some like movements. But yeah, I definitely want, you know, people to be able to take some things away and show them techniques so they can like try them out and go, oh yeah, it does work. Because when you have that aha moment, like when I did it wasn't on my physio degree because they didn't teach this stuff, but it was on my sports massage diploma with where we learnt myofascial release and, you know, positional like neuromuscular exercise and release, reflex release, where I was like, oh my God, there's things I can do to help me. It was like, wow, like it was the most inspiring, life-changing course I've ever done. Like it opened my eyes to a whole possibility that I just didn't know was there. Like, and I just felt like I was finally living again. Like it was just like, how could I have grown up in a society where no one, like, as soon as they saw this curve growing in my spine, where they didn't start massaging me, or where nothing was done like to try and help it? Like, how is that possible when so much is possible to help someone? So yeah, I hope that, yeah, these like videos and things that I do are just inspiring and just keep people motivated to keep going. And obviously I'd love for the health system to change and to incorporate this science into it, you know, to refer to physical therapists, you know, and obviously there are, you know, I'd like that to be sort of like governed and monitored, because like obviously there's therapists and people who aren't properly qualified, so I don't really want people like wasting money on things, people who don't really know what they're talking about either. So if this is like officially taught, the real science of it, then everyone is, you know, properly trained, is really going to know what to do and what timing to do things in, like what is safe and what is not advised or, you know, cautioned against. And even, you know, some things are like contraindicated, like with some illnesses, like you don't want to spread infection around the body, you know, you don't like massage like cancer tumors around the body when they're there, you know. There are certain things that you have to be wary of, and you need to see someone who's properly qualified in this stuff. So if it's not governed and officially taught, then there's free reign for anyone to work out there, essentially. You know, there are people who, you know, call themselves spiritual gurus and teachers that literally have no qualifications. They've just made stuff up from their own experience, and sometimes some of that intuitively is helpful, and sometimes it's not, is unsafe and damaging, and sometimes people are using these things to just make lots of money and manipulate people and emotionally blackmail, you know, and lead on. So I just want this to be like mainstream wisdom that's taught in a system. I just want sanity, peace and health brought back to this Western culture. Really, really do, because this is like, it's not just for me to help my scoliosis, you know, this is for like my people, my family, the future of all, you know. I just, that's why I'm sharing stuff, you know, for free online, why I've worked so hard, spent so much money, studied so hard for so long, all this, because I just think it's worth it. It's worth it for the cause. It really is, because no one should have to suffer like what I've gone through, and like what I've seen people on my physio degree go through, just hooked on drugs, losing their mind, like because they've lived a lifestyle that hasn't understood and like supported their health, really. I don't think that our people should have to suffer in that way any longer. So that's why I'm doing this. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I hope everyone is well and has a good day. And I just, yeah, I really am going to start bringing some real practical skills and exercise and teach real things. It's just like, you know, I have had rods out. It's been like a year now and I've been recovering. And, you know, you can see in my video how much weight I lost. Like, you know, I just want to like wait until I look stronger and healthier to demonstrate techniques and things, because obviously no one's going to be interested in seeing like a weak skinny person doing like some videos. So like that's why I haven't really been doing a lot, because I've just, yeah, had chronic infections and been dying for like a couple of years, and now I'm then recovering from that for a year, you know, like being that unwell. And you know, and trying, it's not easy having the rods out and trying to like, because they have cut through and damaged so many ligaments and soft tissues up, you know, up the bit of my curve that was stuck. You know, not only was it hard to rebuild, first clear the infection, rebuild the wounds from the damage that was done after the surgery and the nerve damage, it's also hard to then build the muscle structure up again when you haven't got the rod holding you. You actually do become very aware of that, and you're like, oh shit, like these muscles have been proper damaged and cut, like I really need to you know, it's painful, like, and it's hard. Like, you know, you don't regret for a second having the rods out. Would I go back and like choose to never have the surgery? Like, I don't know. Like, that's what I mean. I would have just liked the chance to have tried all these other techniques first, and then gone, okay, last minute, have a surgery. Maybe I would have gone for like the tethering, like the different type of more modern surgery. Or I would have just said, like, you've got to take the rods out after a couple of years, because I'm not living with them in long term, because I know the damage. But yeah, so it's not an easy option, either, whatever you choose with scoliosis. And I just think this community of people just, you know, you just want all this stuff that's going to empower you and stop you suffering from whatever you're going through, really, because we shouldn't be having to go through this. Probably no one should who's got any chronic health condition out there. Like, probably a lot of it is to do with a polluted planet and climate change and all the shit that you know, that we're breathing in every day. Maybe there's some things, again, that we can't change and we can't heal or correct or cure with our health condition, because we're always breathing in toxic air and gas fumes. Like, we're always eating food that's got chemical fertilizers on it. We're always, you know, so as I said, these toxins keep the fascia tense and holding on. They stop progress. They keep the body more dehydrated. So many things, like, so many barriers to getting the results that you would ideally want. But so much learning to be had. I probably, yeah, it's been a journey of learning a lot in my life. That's all I can say. And there's been a lot of realizing emotionally of things. Yeah, anyway, this is not a psychological video. Have a good day. Bye.